What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's episode, I will be talking about why HIIT is the worst way to lose body fat and why doing HIIT is making you fatter. But before I dig in, just wanted to thank you for listening. So if you've been listening to the show for a while and it's been resonating with you, if you've been enjoying the podcast, if you could share the show, rate the show, subscribe, that just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of the show. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, HIIT. But actually, before I dig into that topic, there's just some thing that's been happening to people around me that I just wanted to highlight. If you're going to a healthcare professional or doctor or whatever, and you have symptoms that they're not treating or they're saying are normal, but they are not normal, find another provider. Find somebody else who's going to listen to you. Because if something's going on, that's not normal. If you're having experiences that are not standard to you, and you're telling a doctor that it's a problem, but they're not willing to get labs drawn to help you figure out what's going on, find somebody else. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of doctors out there. There's hundreds of thousands of different healthcare professionals. There aren't very many good ones, so it might take a while to find one, but find somebody who's going to listen to you. You are worth that. Don't let some white lab coat dude dismiss your symptoms. If something feels off, get help. Have somebody check it out. Because that's not right. And that's part of why I got into coaching is I've had family members with symptoms or personally symptoms go to the doctor. Oh, you're totally fine. It's totally normal. Yeah, losing a menstrual cycle, not normal. That's not, I mean, it's common, I guess, in female athletes, but it is not normal. So, and that's caused me a lot of health problems. So it's having constant bloating. That is not normal. Doesn't matter if it's, common. If the doctor's like, oh, it's fine, you're probably eating too much fiber, find another doctor. If a doctor tells you you're bloating, so you just have to stay on a particular diet for the rest of your life, find another provider, find another healthcare professional. That is not normal, that is not standard, that is not common. Trying to think of other low energy, fatigue. Oh, you're just going through menopause. No, not normal. Find someone who's going to listen to you, who's going to provide you the care that you need. So frustrating. And I will say, I am not a doctor. I have hormone replacement doctors that I refer clients to that are really good and that I trust. I can help with a lot of natural solutions for things. But as I said, I cannot prescribe medication. So there's some things out of my scope of practice, but I can help with a lot of things. So if you have a doctor or somebody in your sphere that is telling you all these symptoms are normal and you just have to be on X medication or don't worry about it, you're just going through menopause, find somebody who's going to listen to you. And if you think like I would be a good fit, we can just set up a time to chat and I can listen. I can give you some feedback and I can say, hey, look, I can actually help with this. Or, hey, look, here's something you could actually try that would actually move the needle. Or, here's what you're missing. But anyway, I digress. Back to HIIT. But please, though, if you have somebody who's telling you it's normal and it's not normal to you, find someone who's going to listen. Okay, I'm done. But I've had, in the past 6 hours today, 2 people. Actually, well, 5 of the people that I've had interactions with today that are clients and or potential clients, 5 of the 6 people I chatted with had this exact experience. And 2 of them told me about it today. So, yeah. Anyway, HIIT. What is HIIT? I just dropped my phone on the floor because I hit the table. Anyway, hopefully that wasn't too loud. But what is HIIT? HIIT is high intensity interval training. What does that mean? Basically, it's people, what it's commonly, when you think HIIT, when you go to the gym, oh, I'm doing a HIIT workout. It's like cardio with weights. That's what people tend to do. There are high intensity interval training workouts for cardio to improve VO2 max, to improve cardiovascular fitness. Like that's another thing, and that's on exercise equipment or running. Most people aren't skilled enough to do that swimming. So usually people do it on a bike, elliptical, Stairmaster. People who use Stairmasters are slightly masochists. I don't understand it. But anyway, rower. And essentially, it's usually really intense, really hard, all out intensity, and then rest, and then continue. And it burns a lot of calories. That is something that really resonates with former athletes. And HIIT is not great for fat loss. But here's why. It's contextual, okay? If you're trying to change your body composition, or if you're not trying to change your body composition, you just enjoy doing HIIT workouts, HIIT style workouts, and you're fueling your body adequately, you're recovering well, you're sleeping well, have at it. Enjoy. If you're trying to lose body fat, it is not conducive to that. And here's why. Most of the former athletes, type A sort of people that come to me, that work with me, they do so much. They have a lot of stress on their plate. They usually come to me and they're overtraining. They're overtraining, they're doing CrossFit, they're doing HIIT, they're cutting calories, they're fasting, they're barely eating anything. And yeah, it's like, okay, you're doing all that stuff. Your body is not going to be in a great metabolic state. Like it's overly stressed, overly burdened. Most of them also have some type of gut issue, underfueling, overstressed, overtrained. And oftentimes they're doing HIIT. So you know what does serve them? Backing off on the intensity, focusing on getting strong, building muscle, fueling their body adequately, emphasizing recovery, and then their body starts to respond. So really the main reason why is the type of clients that come to see me, they're overly stressed. They're doing way too much. Way too much. They're not recovering. They're not fueling themselves. And HIIT, very high intense, if you're doing that and you're under fueling, your body's not going to maintain muscle tissue. It's going to pare that down, because if your body's overstressed, overburdened, you know what it's thinking? It's like, how do I survive? You know what it does? It learns how to survive and thrive off of a lower caloric intake. And some of the things that it'll do in order to do that, pare down muscle. Muscle is more metabolically active than body fat. It will stop other processes in the body. So, common one for females especially is losing your menstrual cycle. This was me. I dabbled in HIIT. Glad I never got introduced to CrossFit when I was trying to lose weight, because I would have totally been all in, but it was COVID and nothing was open in California. So, but yeah, your body tries to reduce its own burning of calories, and part of the ways that it does that, it reduces muscle. You know what losing muscle mass does? It reduces your metabolism, because as I said, muscle requires more calories to maintain. So the less muscle you have, the worse your metabolism is. And so what I do with clients is we focus on training appropriately, so the right dose for the amount of stressors in your life, And I've talked about stress a lot, but the best analogy I think I've used is your body is like a glass. Water is stress. The glass is your body. It can only handle so much stress, right? It can only hold so much water. Once you start to overflow, you're going to hinder recovery, your body's ability to build muscle. And so oftentimes, those HIIT workouts, those CrossFit workouts, those high intense training bouts, they're too much. Your body can't recover from them. Your body's burnt out. Your body's like, I need to conserve. I need to burn less calories. I need to, and so that's why people who do those workouts, they stay stuck, because then their weight loss plateaus and they're like, well, I just have to do more now, right? It's very similar with cardio junkies, like I used to be. The more cardio you do, the better your body adapts to it. Usually pares down muscle mass, especially if you're not strength training and you're not fueling adequately. And then it makes it harder to lose weight. And so in order to lose weight, you have to do more and more and more. That's the same thing with HIIT. The problem is a lot of people who are doing HIIT, they're overly stressed, overly taxed, and it's very attractive because it's very intense. You feel like you just conquered the world when you do a HIIT workout. When you do a CrossFit style WOD workout of the day, right? You feel like you conquered the world. Then usually after the workout, you're super fatigued and tired and exhausted later in the day. And people don't connect the two because right after they do the workout, they think they feel awesome. But then later in the day, they feel like crap, low energy. And usually they're starving. They're really hungry, but they're like, I can't eat because I'm trying to lose weight. Because us type A's, former athletes, right? We go hard, right? All or nothing. And so that's why they gravitate towards that. And that's why what I help clients do is reduce their training. Train appropriately, the right dose to where we're sending a muscle building or a muscle maintaining signal. So your body doesn't pare down muscle tissue, but it keeps it because it knows it needs it to survive because of the training stress you're putting on it. And then we fuel adequately so that our body can recover. Because when you're training, you're not building muscle, you're breaking it down. So you need to recover and fuel your body so it can repair and rebuild that muscle tissue, which is why protein and carbs are so important. And the cool thing is, a lot of type A's, former athletes, I used to do this, cut carbs. But carbs are going to fuel performance. They're going to allow you to build more muscle, going to allow you to keep energy levels stable and push performance, which is what's going to help you build muscle and maintain muscle when you're trying to lose weight. So, what do you do if you're doing HIIT and CrossFit? You stop doing HIIT and CrossFit. And it's really hard. When I was doing my cardio, like I was probably doing cardio, I was swimming at least 5 days, usually 6 days a week. I was running at least 3, usually 4 days a week. And I was lifting weights at least 2, usually 3, maybe 4 days a week. Right? Way too much. I was probably only running 3 to 2 times actually, but still, way too much. I didn't rip the Band-Aid off because I was addicted to exercise. It made me feel good. It was my coping mechanism for a lot of things. So instead of just ripping off the Band-Aid, I slowly started to decrease my cardio. When I moved to Utah, there are not a lot of pools here, so I could not swim that much. I joined a master's swim league and they only swam 3 times a week. And that was the closest pool to me. I actually found an apartment that was close to a pool. I do enjoy swimming, okay? I swim now, twice a week. But I did not have the ability to do more. I needed that actual physical barrier in order to stop. And if any of y'all have been to Utah, the mountains are like walls. You can't run up them. I don't like to just run to run. I like running in trails. It's a lot more enjoyable. But the elevation, I was like at sea level. And where I live now, it's like 4,500 feet. So big change in elevation. And the hills, they're not hills, they're like walls. They're like this. They're like, it's like you can't run up that. I mean, some people can. I hike in the summer, I hike at ski resorts, and there's these crazy dudes running up the ski slopes. Sometimes when you're riding down them, you're like, wow, these are steep. When you try to hike up them, you're like, damn, I cannot believe I rode down that. That's scary. Like, it's scary. And people are running up that. I'm like, what are you doing? That sounds terrible. I feel like they don't love themselves. I don't know. That sounds not fun. That sounds like punishment. Anyway, I could not run when I was here. So I needed that physical barrier to stop. But anyway, once I did, then I was like, wow, I actually feel better. I have more energy. I have more time to like do other things instead of just doing cardio all the time. I was building more muscle. I was feeling better. I had a lot of ebbs and flows with my weight. So I was building body fat, but I was way over consuming because I was trying to get my menstrual cycle back and I didn't know how to do it properly and I didn't have a coach at the time. So, but besides that, feeling better, sleep better, energy levels better, work better, less brain fog, less fatigue, less aches and pains in my body, overall better quality of life. And so that's what I do with my clients. I try to have them slowly reduce their activity, and sometimes I'm like, just trust me. And boom, I flip that switch, and some of them trust me, some of them don't. But when the ones that do and follow through, they see great results. Because we focus on building muscle. Because a lot of the people that work with me, they've been chronically dieting, underfueling, overtraining to where their body is primed to build muscle. It just needs to be fueled properly and trained appropriately. So we focus on building muscle, usually for at least 3 months. And then after that period, their body's ready and primed for fat loss, unless they have some other underlying root issue that we need to address. And sometimes it takes 6 months. Depends on the client and the severity of the chronic dieting history. So, anyway, then once we do that, their body's ready, primed, they're feeling awesome, and it makes fat loss a lot easier because their calories are in a much better place. So, anyway, don't do HIIT if you're trying to change your body composition. If you genuinely enjoy doing it, your energy levels are great, you're fueling your body adequately, you have great quality sleep, your digestion's great, you have a great quality of life, then don't change anything. But if you don't, this is your sign that you should probably switch up your exercise routine to be something more sustainable. Strength train 2 to 4 times a week. I don't have most of my clients do more than that unless they're trying to build a habit and routine. Then sometimes I'll have them on a 6-day, 1 to 2 exercises a day sort of routine just to build that habit and consistency. But for the most part, 2 to 4 times a week is all you need. So really, you should be doing less than you're doing now. And for us type A's, that sounds ridiculous because in other aspects of our life, the harder we work, the more we do, the more we're rewarded. But with regards to body composition goals, if you're not doing the right dose, you're moving backwards. So remember that the right dose is important. More is not better when it comes to exercise and cutting calories. The right dose and working with your body is the key. So anyway, if you're like, wow, I'm ready, let's try the Fit Habit approach, you can book a discovery call below. We could just set up a 15-minute chat. If it clicks, then we'll set up a longer consultation just to make sure it's a good fit, and we can get started, and I can help you actually see the results that you want. So, anyway. But if this has helped you and you're already taking action, that's great. Just don't not change if you're stuck. Because no action, inaction is action in the opposite direction. So if you're stuck and you don't like where you're at, But instead of taking action on something you've learned or trying something new that could move the needle, don't keep doing the same thing. Because the thing you're doing now is not working if you're frustrated with where you're at. Right? So keep that in mind. But anyway, that is all for today. Real strength training is not cardio with weights. It requires rest periods. You need to actually sit on your ass in between sets and rest. So also remember that. And anyway, thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, please share it, rate the show, subscribe. It just helps me help more people and get in front of more people, which helps me help more people. So anyway, thank you for listening. That is all for today. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.